Techno. Hollywood.
Hello, hello.
17.
Is
You
it
know what I
17?
mean?
Yes. I know what you mean. And this time live and direct from the one and only Big Apple, NYC. Yes,
I'm
yes.
so mad about New York in general because, one, I don't live there. Two,
Yeah.
Jackie,
I know.
she got rid of the place.
I know.
Gah.
In the, where was it? Lower East Side? No, Alphabet City, right?
Alphabet City, 10th and B, 321
Yeah.
East 10th Street.
Yeah, can you remember the address still? Yeah.
Apartment 4?
I don't know.
That was
I've
our
only
crash
stayed-
pad. That was our. I lived there
Yeah.
for like a couple years.
I lived there for like a month or something back then.
Ah,
Yeah.
good times. Fourth.
This is where I first saw The Sopranos, by the way. This
Yeah.
is how old this goes back to. This is when it was Sopranos just aired.
And
was
I
like,
know
what
you
is
loved
this?
it, and it was your
I know.
birthday. And this is what a good friend I am. Okay, so I bought you the Sopranos DVDs
I remember.
because you're
yeah.
like you have like you had like a German DVD player that could play DVDs
Yeah.
from America.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I mailed
exactly.
it to you, and then you never got it.
That's true.
And then I
think,
bought it
yeah.
again and sent it to you again.
Wow, yeah, that was so nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
I, think
and
I
that
still
was
have
like-
that somewhere in the basement. I think.
Back then, that was like $100
I know. Yeah, to send it still is
and $40
like,
to ship. So I spent $280 on your Sopranos. So you're welcome.
Oh my god!
And now
thank
it's
you again.
$9 a month for streaming, unlimited.
I know. It's like with music. I mean, I spent lots of money on box sets and everything. Anyways, yeah. So
Can
yeah,
you get
I'm,
your head more in the top part of the screen, so when I comp it together,
like this.
or just like tilt your like using your laptop cam,
Yeah, yeah.
just tilt it a
laptops,
bit
yeah.
so your head is more near. Yeah, like a
Okay.
direct. Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Perfect. Yeah.
It looks
I'm
good
just
back
looking at
there.
different. Yeah, it's I'm
Like an
staying
antique
at a-
shop.
Yeah, he's an interior designer. The guy, friends,
Yeah, he
family
is.
that I'm staying with, and you can tell immediately the coloring, the bed, the lamp, everything looks pretty stylish. Yeah, I'm in Williamsburg right now.
This is
And,
actually much better with a wired headphone than a Bluetooth for me.
yeah. I have
Feels
a
more
mic
like
in the hand.
there's
now.
less delay, like we're closer.
Yeah, of course, yeah, because it's not Bluetooth. Anyway, so yeah, let's jump right in. Are we gonna start with the German English or what?
Yeah,
Is this
German
a new
English
thing?
first.
Yeah, okay.
Segments first. That's how we
Segments
do
first.
it.
Okay, we only have that one. We remember
No, we have a
had
ha
other
segment.
Ones. Yeah, we haven't touched up on that.
I
But,
just did a ha. I was like, Sopranos? I don't know.
I guess, yeah. Okay, so here the German English one is, so there's a German saying. So basically there's a saying where you want to send people far, far away because you want to get rid of them and you don't want to hear anything from it anymore. And the German saying is, geh dahin, wo der Pfeffer wächst. And the literal translation would be, go where the pepper grows.
Oh, man.
And, yeah, and where the pepper grows.
Because they don't like
is-
pepper?
no, it's because
Is it
back
racist?
then- it's kind of racist because back then the pepper was imported from India,
Yeah.
and that's why you wanted to send people all the way to India and sort of get rid of them, and they would never return because it's so far away. India was like obviously from Europe, very far away.
So just get them out of Germany.
Get them out of Germany. Go where the pepper grows.
Yeah.
It's kind of, yeah. If you think about it, I guess it's not racist, but you can use it for everyone, not only for like people you don't like from a different race. I guess.
Yeah, it sounds like it's for everyone, but it also like a German saying about exporting people from the country.
Yeah, I know.
Might-
It's
Might
not
have to put this
politically
one to the
correct
side.
anymore.
We'll discuss this one in historical context. Maybe not
Exactly.
encourage the use of.
Yeah, so what we have to talk about really is like I don't know if you saw in the news, like in Europe, people even contacted me. So we came here on Tuesday, right? A couple of days ago. And we came here and it was kind of like, I looked at the weather as well. It was supposed to be sunny and nice. And I came in when we stepped off the plane, it was kind of darkish and cloudy. I'm like, okay, I guess. And then at night, I felt like, well, just the whole visual look was kind of like the whole city was smoky. We didn't know, like we went out with a cousin walking down like by the Williamsburg Bridge in Williamsburg and just by the water. And we're like, the city looks kind of weird because it was all like smoky, dusty, but it was supposed to be sunny. And then basically people's like, yeah, you know, there's these fires in Canada, like the wildfires. And I think the air turned and there's a lot of like of the smoke and the dust, everything is coming over from Canada. I'm like, okay, I guess. then Wednesday we wake up, we go into the city, we have some meetings here with Joplin, obviously, and all of a sudden, like we went for a lunch, like sort of meeting, and we look outside, and there's hardly anyone on the streets anymore. And and it's like, we're like, well, that's weird. People wearing masks again. I felt like, oh, Corona's back, COVID is back, you know. And it was basically, and the air, the sky, everything was like orange. And then all of a sudden you felt like you're in a Mad Max Dune movie. Like it was like you could barely see anything. The sun was like behind a filter almost. Like it looked like a moon sun, like very doomsday style. You know, it looked dystopian. It looked almost like scary in a way.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
You look a little orange. Maybe it affected you.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. And then it's basically, and you try to take pictures of the iPhone camera, and it tried to correct it because it's like there's something wrong with the light in a way. No, it made it look
iPhone's
brighter.
like cannot compute. This is wrong.
Cannot compute. This is wrong.
Call Elon, leave the planet.
And then,
Welcome to Mars.
At, you know, like there's an app, obviously the weather app on the iPhone, and it tells you the air quality index.
Yeah.
Right. And it goes from green to sort of orange, then it goes like reddish, and it goes dark purple. And normal, I think it should stay below 100 or something.
Yeah.
100 is like already not good. Like it's on a bad day, I guess in LA, like in Berlin, it's around 50 or 80. I guess in every city is around 60, 50 something air quality. And it went up to 450 or something. And it said hazardous. And it said like air quality one, go inside and stuff. Like I got text messages, go inside. And I'm like, okay.
In German or English?
No, in English. Yeah. Oh. And then it basically, I was like, wow. And then we sort of headed quickly home and sort of trying to hide. I mean, you can't escape air really, but it's better to stay inside, obviously, than to be
because it can be filtered if you're in a good place, at least.
I guess it gets filtered, or like it doesn't, like if it doesn't get, it doesn't hit you constantly.
Yeah, because the air conditioner will pull the air out and filter it.
I guess, yeah. So that's why we went inside, and then I really had breathing problem. I don't have asthma and stuff, but sometimes I used to have allergies. So my lungs are not 100% perfect, I guess. And it really, like the last few days, quite heavy here. And then,
it's not good.
Like, this was the Wednesday, and then we had meetings scheduled for Thursday, for today, Friday. Every meeting got canceled. They're like, hey, sorry to inform you, we're closing down our offices. All we're supposed to work from home, and nothing's going on in the city. I'm like, great, really good timing. And then it's like we had a few Zoom calls and stuff, so it's okay. And today, I think like Wednesday was the worst. Yesterday started to clear up, and today it's okay again. It still says a little bit warning, but nothing like crazy. Now I think it moved down south now to Washington or something. I don't know.
So it's better now.
Yeah, it's better now. It took like 2-3 days for the whole cloud.
It was
to sort
scary.
Of
I was like,
I mean, the pictures look, it looks crazy.
Yeah.
And there's such a funny. You have to put that up. I'll send it to you. You know this meme guy, like dude with the sign.
Yeah, I saw that.
And he said basically he had like Canada? A sign up like Canada, what the fuck, like standing in the middle of New York.
Oh my god!
With all the dust and the smog and everything.
Yeah. Do you have some pantyhose you could put over the mic? It's distorting a lot.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you know what? Because I should put it down here.
Yeah.
Of course, because I'm sorry. I'm so unprofessional. I'm such a I should know.
You should know, but you don't.
Yeah, no, I don't.
That's great. I was feeling bad for you because I remember when the fires were here, it was like 250, and it was I couldn't breathe. I was outside. I was like, this is too much. Like I can't. Yeah.
It's heavy. Like, and 400, I've never experienced something like this. Like, it's heavy to breathe, and you feel like all the stuff you breathe in, like it's just bad.
It's not, your lungs aren't meant for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because think about nature. There's a forest fire, you flee.
Exactly.
You don't like
Everyone
hang out
dies.
and be like, this is, I said oat milk. You know, like you guys are the last German. This is like a movie, The Last Germans. You're just in New York while it's burning.
I'm like, I'll have a cold brew, please.
Yeah. I don't see the big deal. It's like the Blitz.
No, so it was kind of hectic and heavy. But let's go back like a couple of days ago. I mean, we just got here, obviously, but a couple of days ago, we were just in Ibiza. And she played a concept called like a new party concept at one of our favorite locations, the Cova Santa. It's an outdoor location. And it was called Shibiza. So because it's organized by all female lineup. And it was interesting for me. I mean, I like it because it was like a really cool female crowd that organized these events. And it was the first thing they booked Joplin almost like as the headliner. And it was sort of a responsibility for us to also pull some people, but to cut things short, it all worked out. The place was packed, was really nice people. I mean, one funny scene was like for the artist dinner, we sat there. And I was the only guy at the table, and there were like 12. And because it's a Dutch,
this happens a lot for you.
I know, there were like 12 girls sitting there, all like influencers / models, and they were all sort of hired to promote the event. Very nice Dutch girls, and we were just like, and I was the only dude at the table. So I'm not complaining, but I'm just saying like. It was really fun, and then some more people came. All our friends from Ibiza came. She played a really good set, and then it was a fun event. So shout out to Shibiza and Lady of the House. They sort of booked us and organized everything.
Tan plus 12. That's your life story. Just you and like, I don't know how I got here, but there's 12 girls.
I know that's so. And then the good thing is like, so after the party, she played because they have noise restrictions too, right? So it only goes to like 11, 12 midnight outside because there's already still neighbors everywhere. People are complaining, right? And then everyone said like, okay, there's another birthday party. Let's go to this legendary place called Pikes. I'm like, yeah, I heard of it. And then we just all went there. And then the day after I sort of realized, okay, what this legendary place is about. So basically it's a guy called Tony Pikes.
Here we go.
He's the Hugh Hefner, they say, of Ibiza. Mm-hmm. Like we're talking 70s, 80s now. And he's like a British guy. And he built this hotel with like, it's like the Chateau Marmont of Ibiza, right? And it's basically 20 rooms, like suites, apartments. And you walk in and you can feel the excess that used to go on here. Like it's like there's a pool, there's a tennis court. It's iconic, like a pink tennis court. And then there's a pool. And I was like, I recognize this pool because it's the same pool that Wham, like Club Tropicana. I don't know if the 80s song of Wham, George Michael. They shot the whole video there. A little bit before me, yeah. Yeah, I know, but they shot the video there. And then there's all these legendary stories like Julio Iglesias, Kylie Minogue, Freddie Mercury, all these icons stayed at the hotel in the 70s, 80s. And this was the hotspot of Ibiza, So now, of course, the guy passed away. Pass it on. It's run by different people now, but you can still feel the energy there. And there's all these crazy pictures. And we walk in, lots of Brits there and lots of crazy Brits. I mean, they know how to party, and basically a lot of British girls in very dressed very lightly. Let's put it this way. And they're just like so touchy and so chatty. Like we walked in with a bunch of guys and like a mixed group, and we were hit on immediately. Like as dudes, and we're like, well, it's kind of weird. And they say, hey, who are you? Like grabbing us. So like we're like, whoa, slow down. So yeah, the Brits know how to party there. And then we walked into the small room, and it's like, I was like, there's drum and bass playing. I haven't heard drum and bass and jungle like in, I feel 10, 15 years in a club. Mm-hmm. And it's a small club. It's blasting loud. I'm like, this is cool. So, everyone sort of used to like, I guess, drum and bass. I used to like it but it never plays anymore. Like it's now dubstep or Skrillex or whatever. But the original drum and bass, like the British one. And I go into the room, and there's literally Goldie. I don't know if you know Goldie. It's like playing there. He's like one of the inventors, like the godfathers of drum and bass.
It rings a bell, but I don't know.
Yes, it's a guy. It's a British black guy with golden teeth. Yeah, and he's like, he used to be Madonna's darling and everyone. Like he used to be the one, like the drum and bass guy. So it was Goldie and Tricky and Massive Attack back then and stuff in the 90s. Yeah, and then he was playing there, and I was like, everyone's like, wow, what the hell? And then everyone was freaking out. It was so sweaty, dirty, and wild. And this is the after party after we played the sort of
drum and bass just sounds dirty. The name,
and it was so much energy though, because it's like so fast, like 160 BPM and halftime, double time. But it was definitely a vibe. And then there's an outside area. It's like you can't really describe the place. It's like a maze almost. Mm-hmm. Like you discover different rooms. There's a dance floor, then there's an outside thing, and there's all kinds of stuff going on there. But it was like pretty legendary to hang out at the Pikes. It was really, really cool.
You had a big night.
Yeah, that was just the one night, and then and we stayed in Ibiza a couple nights, and then of course it kept like in Ibiza you land, and then there's all these. Now the season started basically. It's still sort of not high season, meaning like the island is still full, but it's not like packed like in July or August. But all the daily, like the weekly residences are all happening, meaning like every Friday now there's at this club, it's like David Guetta, and then the other one is Tale of Us, and then there's Black Coffee, and then there's Solomon, and then there's like every big club has their nights happening and opening now. So we went out the next day we saw a bunch of Germans there. It was Robin Schulz. I don't remember if you know Robin Schulz, like
the songwriter.
One of the, no, he's like a DJ, producer, and he's pretty big. He has his own night at the Pacha Club. So friends of mine, of course, it's a whole German thing, invited us there. Then we went and saw that. That was interesting because it's a very commercial, more commercial crowd and music, but it's still interesting for me as a producer and as an A&R to see what people react to. And I met a bunch of friends that I know on the island because it's, as I said, it's a German DJ. So a bunch of Germans will hang out, and people booking agents hang out, and label guys, so it's like, it's a good networking event. And then it's good, you start to know the bouncers at the clubs, like the VIP girls, the bartenders now. So things get a little easier now on the island. Yeah, you're in the mix, and they recognize you.
Yeah.
Thanks to my
brand.
look. Yeah, the brand. And then I get, all of a sudden I get free drinks, free everything. I get the right bands. Everything runs smoothly now. Like slowly but surely working my way up.
You can't be stopped.
In the Ibiza way.
I like it.
And then the next day we met with our booking agent. They're all there. Like a lot of people, like a lot of English people or Germans, they retire on the island, or not retire. They sort of work from there, obviously.
Where are you going to retire?
I don't know. Like it's a way to.
That'd be like work. You don't want to retire there. You'd be like,
I know. Retiring is a weird concept to me. I think I'll probably at some point, like everyone else, wants to slow down on the daily activities and only focus on the real fun and so. But I always feel like I'll be around music and people and events and exciting stuff in a way, because that's just what I want to do, So there's no, I mean, the perfect idol is Quincy Jones. Like, I mean, he's 90 something now.
I mean, he's dead, but
he's not dead.
Yeah, he is.
No, he's not.
He's dead.
Quincy Jones is not dead.
Quincy Jones is dead.
Quincy Jones is not dead.
Okay,
you can look it up right now.
He's dead.
Like, no, he's not.
I don't know.
He's like he just. I think it was just his 90th or something. Like, no, he's not dead. I just saw a video of a friend of mine hanging out with him. You can look it up, but he's not dead.
Not dead.
I told you, you idiot.
Damn.
Like, I mean, I hope he's not dying anytime soon. Yeah, he's 90s, as I said. Like, and he's still working. He's with the purple color. There's a remake. The color purple. I mean, there's a remake right now.
Color.
He's and there's all kinds of stuff he's involved with, like on a daily basis. I see he's working. He's meeting. He's doing stuff. Like that's the
title.
Goal.
Quincy Jones is not dead.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's bad. Quincy Jones is of course all-time hero for me.
Yeah, of course.
Anyway,
he's great. He's one of the best.
Yeah, and then we met with our booking agent, and then we talked about like how things are going to develop on the island, on Ibiza. A lot of like people live in Ibiza now. They spend half the year in Ibiza during the season and work from there, and then the other half day in Germany or in London, whatever. So that's definitely a lifestyle. That's why the island is becoming more and more expensive, because it's a small island. It's like a micro economy.
Everyone wants to go to the same place, and the same place.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. But I mean, there's a reason. Like I think if someone could be like, hey, let's all now move together to a different place where it's cheaper and we still have the same people around us and the same vibe, people would do it. But because you can't organize it and coordinate like this, people tend to go with other like-minded people, right?
Yeah.
In general. So that's why people still go to Ibiza, people still go to New York, people still go to London or to LA, because these cities still have an attraction.
I love LA.
Yeah, that's where like everyone's like, I guess that's where everyone else is. Let's go there, Like
But I still drank my New York Yankees cup in solidarity with the fire.
Yeah, and I'm getting closer now. In a couple of days, I'm gonna be in your city.
Whoop,
we can
whoop.
do
We'll be back face to face. We can hug
face to face. Yeah, and we'll do a
get
real
pho.
time. Yeah, and then we're gonna do a
I always
a
gain
real
about
life.
5 pounds per week when Tan's in town.
No,
But
you're
you
not.
eat less and I eat more.
Exactly. Yeah, that's good. No, and then we were talking about things like it's crazy how like these visuals right now, like it's just like there's nothing wrong with this because it's a spectacle. There's a lot of big DJs that have like crazy, like they spend so much money on these screens and these visuals, like it's like a 3D almost thing, like the things pop out of the screen and stuff. But I feel like it's becoming less and less of the music and the people. It's almost scary. Like they're not even watching the DJ anymore. They're watching the visuals and they're not even listening to the music really. So you can barely see the DJ. So basically as a DJ, you're making yourself almost obsolete. You know, I don't know if, I mean, I guess you can pull it off because if you're the biggest one, you have the right spectacle and all that stuff. But I think like in contrast, obviously there's people like Prince that go on stage with a guitar and a band, no visuals, no light, nothing, and they kill it even more, like because the music content quality is so high, you know. So
yeah, you're
so
making it bigger than you, and
exactly,
then remove
then
you.
You're dependent on it, yeah, exactly. And
Right.
then you remove yourself essentially by
Yeah, and you're like, what do
without
I
knowing. So
add in the moment?
yeah, so it's almost like.
Yeah.
But you have to like the ways like you have to hold your own, like if it boils down to you, like not a lot of people, especially in the DJ electronic world, can just take an instrument or play sing a song anyway, right, and still touch people, you know. So it's crazy how this goes. The production goes so overboard now. Like
Yeah.
it's I think the middle ground is good. Or I guess if you're the big and you can afford it, people want to see that spectacle. But then it's not about the music anymore. It's about
Well, it's
the
also an
spectacle.
experience. It's like you want to
Yeah.
know you went to the authentic place or whatever. You saw it for real. It's more of a
Yeah, you saw
moment
it for
when you're
real.
like, "There's
Yeah, it's a moment,
Prince. I'm here."
Yeah.
We saw Prince together in Germany.
I know.
That was
I just
kicked the
amazing.
laptop, but yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, it was one of my best concerts. And
Yeah.
the
It
open
was
air one,
it was half empty.
yeah.
And he
No, it
invited us
wasn't.
all from the back row down. He's like,
Yeah,
"Come
to the
fill the
front,
front," and we're like, "Yeah, Sheila E.
And when everyone
Prince."
went on, and then Sheila E was there, and then everyone went on stage. It was probably. I mean, I've seen Prince over 10 times, but
Because it was
one
so
of the
German,
best ones.
everyone was like following the rules. Like, no, we have our assigned seats. We're not going to the front. But it's also so German because no one bought the expensive front seats.
Exactly.
So Prince is like, I'm not dealing with this German stuff. Come have a
come
fun
here.
time.
Exactly.
Euros for
And
everyone.
Euros every and the thing is, no production. There was hardly. It was a daytime thing, like an open air.
Yeah,
and the
open
thing is,
air,
like,
yeah.
and it was the songs were enough. And the good thing is, I mean, I've been to Prince shows where he just played crazy jazz stuff and just freaked out, which is his right to do, obviously. But this time he gave the people what they wanted. He played
Yeah.
all the hits, right?
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
so good.
Last time I saw him, I think before that was in Vancouver where he didn't do any. He's like, if you came to get
yeah.
Purple Rained Out, you came to the wrong show. And he just played.
Really, he said it.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. He's like dissing himself. Like you're not hearing any hits here today.
Yeah, but it was still great. And
Yeah, of
but then
course,
at the end, he gave on the encore. He played Raspberry Beret, just as like, all right, here's a little taste.
Ah, nice. Yeah, yeah.
And it
then
was
also like
2.5 hours of new stuff that like no one knew.
Yeah. And it's jamming basically. He's jamming, and having
Yeah.
fun. And then I mean, another thing is like I realized just hanging out in Ibiza, because the one guy he had a place up in the north, and they say like and the island is a little, I didn't really recognize it, but it's true because all the party things, all the big clubs are in the south by the city, and in the north it's more like there's no real beaches. It's like all like cliffs and stuff, but it's a beautiful part of the island. And then the guy said something funny. I was like, yeah, it's so true. It's like the south is for the dealers and the north is for the healers. You know, so basically, in the south, there's a party scene. Obviously, there's a drug scene there too because it's part of the culture. You know, people get messed up and take stuff and experience it even better, so to say. And in the north, it's all the Ibiza, because Ibiza is also a very spiritual hippie island. That's the history, right? So there you have all the healers, the spiritual people doing all the ceremonies, essentially also taking stuff, but not with a party, but we're trying to sort of more with the ceremony and trying to reach different levels spiritually. So it's a good way to describe the island.
Balance, yeah.
Like the healers and the dealers.
It's a circle of life. So yoga's in the north, parties in the south.
Exactly. Parties in the south. Yeah.
Or it's like a mullet.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. One time, yeah, it's like a mullet. That's good. Yeah. It's basically, one time we need to all go to Ibiza and I'll show you the
Let's
island.
do it.
I think you're gonna like it. And then what else? I've been listening because I've been flying a lot, and when I fly, I listen to podcasts. Obviously,
Yeah, our podcast, obviously.
Of course, yeah.
You just listen to my voice over. You skip all the ton parts. You're like, what's
you always send me the edited version, right? Where it's only your voice.
Yeah. That's the only one that gets released.
Okay, that's
you just never checked it out. Yeah, I know you're not listening because it's just me.
No. So I heard a podcast with this producer Fred again. He's like talk.
Oh, you
of
brought
town
him up before.
Yeah, he's fantastic. And he said basically what he does, like one of the key lessons I thought like for the creative process I want to share because I'm trying to do that too now. He said like basically he used to make himself like a 1 hour timer. So he would do something and then 1 hour later, if it's good or not, like he'll decide later and he'll start something new, right? And then he realized, okay, no, it's actually better he calls it like to get more lottery tickets because you never know when inspiration, what really works or what strikes. So now he has 15-minute timers where he pulls out an idea. It could be like a loop, a vocal sample, anything he worked. He just does a timer for 15 minutes and he records down an idea. And he does that for and then 1 hour he has 4 ideas already because in his whole life he realized it's mainly 1 in 4, like 20% is okay to continue working on. So he just has during the day, he does this in a few sprints. He has 8, 16 ideas. And then next day he can see what, if 4 of these ideas, 10, 20% are good. He's
rather than spending too much time on a shit idea.
Spend too much time on a shit idea. Because you can't polish a turd, right? So that's the old saying.
I don't know if we'd have careers if we didn't, people didn't cry.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But I think it's a good way to look at things and not
meaning we spent a lot of
it.
time polishing other people's turds.
I guess. Yeah. That's, as you said, there's a career out of that, but we're trying to be ahead of the game, obviously.
Yeah.
If you can
that
do
game's over. Being a service person for turds is so 10 years ago.
I guess no, but it's still there's still people that get paid for the last 10, 20% to clean it up and to polish it. But I'm just talking about the creative part. If you're a fully creative person, I think
I'm going to use that for jokes.
Yeah, exactly. 15
because
minutes.
I do a 1 hour timer as well. So now I'm going to do and
15 minutes,
sometimes I spend the whole hour doing one idea that's not good.
Exactly. Yeah. So in that time you had 4 ideas. And then at least one of the ideas would be good.
Yeah.
So guaranteed good almost. So so
mathematically
I think
guaranteed.
Yeah, it's just you buy more lottery tickets. He says in the end.
Thank you, Fred, again.
Yeah, thank you, Fred, again. Fred Gibson. Again. Yeah, exactly. No, so that's I think a very good approach to.
That's a great approach. Yeah.
It's and then there's I heard because he's also worked with Brian Eno way back when he was younger. Brian Eno is one of the
U2,
original
right?
ambient, he is U2. That's what he's known for, but he's also an ambient producer, like a sound magician, almost to say. But here's a O2, like a U2 story. Yeah? So basically, also from the Fred Again podcast, it's also I think those are the two key lessons I've found. So basically, he tells
no need to listen to Fred Again's podcast. You can just
listen
stay
to
here.
Ours.
We'll tell you what Fred's doing. Okay.
We listen to everything.
We'll digest it and tell you what's good.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. That's the thing. We're the A&Rs of podcasts.
Yeah,
just
that's
listen
actually
to us
a really good idea.
Yeah, but
This
you
week
need
in
a lot of time
podcasts.
to listen to stuff. Yeah. This week, I'm sure there's a podcast digesting other podcasts, and
I think there's a Joe Rogan podcast recap podcast.
I
But
guess
he's so big that someone could try to be the leech on that, just that one.
Yeah, it's all about filters nowadays, right? It's all about you need someone to filter out the good stuff for you.
But we're digesting
Because there's
our
so much,
universe. So
yeah.
So anyway, continue.
because-
Fred had a good thing.
Yeah, so basically, also a really interesting story, I thought. I think you're going to like this. So basically, Brian Eno, U2 had a big hit album, first or second, I can't remember. So it was all about okay, let's do the next album. there's a lot of pressure, obviously, and everything. And then basically, apparently, they came into the studio all like forgetting about how hard and sweaty the work is to create something great. So they basically, he says like people tend to, and I guess we do it too, like romanticize the creative process, because then they tell you later, yeah, I wrote the song in 10 minutes. It was easy. It was done.
Yeah.
Right. So in their own head, apparently they thought like all these hits they wrote were like easy and it was cool, and they just were hanging out, and all of a sudden the song came, you know? So then he realized, okay, there's no vibe here. They are too stuck up in their own cloud. And he said, okay, let's do something. Then he cut off the studio. He said, let's go. I want to show you something. They're like, okay, what? Then he booked the table at like a 3-star Michelin restaurant, like the top-notch restaurant, right? So they go in there, and the guys say, oh, cool, let's have a great dinner, I guess. They walk in. Everything's perfect. Like every member has his own waiter. The lighting, the food, everything is just so super perfect. It's a 3-star thing. The whole experience, it's like everything's flawless, right? And he's like, okay, you like that, guys? Yeah, it's pretty cool, right? Whatever. And they're like, yeah, we love it. It's cool. It's great. And then it's like, come follow me. Then he goes into the kitchen. And the kitchen in a 3-star restaurant, it's full on chaos. People are screaming around, like, stuff gets kicked over. Like if it's in the oven for 10 seconds too long, the whole thing messes up. There's high energy, there's stress, there's people like and he's like, hey guys, we're not out there. We need to be in the kitchen. Meaning like we have to be, when we create the stuff, it has to be dirty. It has to be crazy. It has to be that energy in the kitchen. This is what we're looking for. We're not looking for this. This is the end product, the result for the public maybe out there. It feels perfect, whatever, it's nice. But while we create it, we need to go literally in the kitchen. And I thought that's such a great story, because it's like, and then it clicked for them apparently, you know? So
U2.
That's, yeah, for U2. I mean, and that's what a real producer
this is like Mysterious Ways, U2?
Yeah, it's a Rattle and Hum second, third album. I don't know the.
Achtung Baby?
Yeah, it could be. I don't know which album it was, but it was the ones that Brian Eno did. And I just feel like that's why these producers like Rick Rubin, Brian Eno, they're legendary, because they see the real bigger picture. All they do is feel, right? And they feel the energy out. They feel like, okay, these guys are not in the right headspace.
They're managers. They're people who can like be like
of emotions, I guess.
But like, like they're like directors. They're like, this is not, we're not doing like, and it takes a strong force of will to tell U2 you're fucking up.
After they had like the biggest hits and songs, to be like, okay, this is all not working. Let's go. Yeah. Let's start. Let's look behind the scenes.
Right.
Let's get dirty again. Let's go into the kitchen. Let's strip down.
Do you think that still exists today?
I don't know. Like, I mean, even like a guy like Rick Rubin, who's on that same level or even higher, legendary, like, of course, he's doing stuff, and I think he's done the last Red Hot Chili Peppers. He's doing like, of course, more iconic bands also, but none of these records cut through culturally like they used to, because it's not a monoculture anymore, as we talked about. So I guess those I listen to them, and they're good for the fans, and I think it's good, but nothing has that same super magic energy, because there's something about like, I think it's because everything, all music and all art, it's so like
so disposable,
so fast, it's so disposable. No one sits in the dark anymore, opens up a vinyl, looks at the cover, and just listens to it front to back, like I used to do as a kid. You know, and these are moments you can't recreate. And this is where the real energy gets sort of
and it's always like driven by the younger demographic, and if they're doing it a different way, we kind of can't force the old ways on them. So I think those times are just over, unfortunately. That's life, you know, that's progress. Things gonna move on, and that's okay. But it's just like, I think we're in this generation where we saw both sides still, and we feel both sides. So it's like nice sometimes to reminisce how it was, but then you also got to be like, okay, this is not reality anymore. Kids and the new generation want something else. And who knows, maybe there's a resurgence of vinyl. There could be people that like want to slow down everything again, because everything goes too fast. There's always going to be a counter movement where things go slow again, I guess. I think there's nothing like, they're fighting different barriers. Like their barrier was like, oh, we're not focused. We just think it's easy. And the producer pushes through that.
there's no barrier easier to overcome than put your phone at the door when you come in the studio.
I know. Yeah.
Like that's our 3-star story. Like,
exactly. Yeah.
Put your phone in the bag. Come in here.
Disconnect.
Disconnect. Yeah.
I think the key to
I did a
everything
session
is
recently
like
with somebody, like, and I was like, I came out of retirement, and I was like, oh, you can't put your phone down. I was like, it's not going to work.
Yeah, because they always say, but the phone is also the voice notes, it's the lyrics, and they're like,
yeah, but I'm sorry, it's not enough.
Or you put it at least on airplane mode, so you don't have the internet.
I get it.
Cut off the internet. I think that's the thing. Like you can use your phone as a tool, but if you're connected to the internet, I think that disturbs the creative.
If I really did it again with a band, I would say no phones.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure there's no phone when Rick Rubin produces. It's
Or on Tarantino sets, he doesn't allow a phone. And if a phone rings on set, there's no question you're fired.
Yeah, I love it.
Isn't that like? And he has banks of like payphones at the edge of the lot or whatever. And if you want to make a call, you got to go to a guy, and he'll get your phone out, and he like watches you, and then takes the phone, puts it in the bag, and then you got to go back to work.
Nice, I love it.
I mean, that's like,
but only guys like Tarantino can do that, and they're a rare breed, and there's no one else coming.
Well, not many people have the will.
Where's the new Tarantino?
Well, Tarantino has the will not only to do those types of movies and to be that type of person, so he can exerting the additional will to just get rid of phones is like nothing.
And then people believing in him and being like, okay, he's our leader. If he says we do this, we all do this, and then people follow. You know, like you just need critical mass, and then everyone
like
he's
that.
The artist,
like he's the artist of what's going on. So you either do it the way the artist wants, or you don't, and that's the end of it.
Yeah, that's the end of it. Yeah. So I mean, that was, I think, an interesting thing. And yesterday we went. That's why I'm a little bit. I'm trying to drink less.
You're a little tired. You're a little not firing.
Yeah, I'm a little tired.
Only 4 of 6 cylinders firing today.
No, it's good. I'm getting there now. I'm getting energized as we speak. So yeah, then things are clearing up now in New York, like literally like the air and everything. So there's more events and stuff happening. So yesterday I was invited through a friend of mine who we've known for a while now. Shout out to Björn. Like he's the manager of this band called Milky Chance. I don't know. Have you heard of Milky Chance? No?
I've heard of Milk Bar.
Man, yeah. Okay, no. It's like
Milky Chance.
So basically, Milky Chance. They're like I would say arguably the biggest German indie pop band that broke internationally. So they basically, and they have 20 million streams. They have a song with almost 1 billion streams or something, and they were signed to Republic Records here in the States. You know, so like we're talking the like Republic, the legendary label with The Weeknd and Erika. They signed this German band like the album before, and they're basically so big that you know the song when it's called Stolen Dance and Down by the River. Like it's basically, I call it like hippie house. It's basically a campfire house. It's with guitars. He has a kind of raspy voice, the singer. And it's like with a little bit of dance beats, but house beats, but pretty light, you know. And they started like 10 years ago. It's a fascinating story because they were still in high school. They did these songs and they put it up on SoundCloud back then, got discovered, and it blew up. Like the first song they ever sort of officially released on SoundCloud. And then they just kept doing these type of songs. And now they're like huge. I mean, they're on a 50 dates US tour only.
Whoa.
Like it's crazy. Like and they're like, as I said, like they're one of the biggest, and they play like really big venues, you know. And they're not. I think the Americans think they're American, but they're actually German. Yeah? 2 guys from Kassel in the middle of Germany. So, anyways, we were hanging. Yesterday was the album release party. They just released a new album, and it was Amazon sort of did the whole thing. There's a thing called City Sessions at the Amazon Music studio. So they played a little live showcase there. It was streamed with Twitch, and we were all hanging out there with the band. I knew the manager, as I said, but I got to meet the band, and there was an after party at some bar they rented. And for the whole team, they're traveling with a 20 people crew, obviously with a full band. And there were people from Amazon, people from Germany, because it's also a German thing. Like Germans tend to, of course, if they're outside of Germany, and there's only a few more international managers or players, especially in the electronic world, you tend to stick together, and you're like, hey, you're in the city, like, hey, I'm here too, like let's meet up.
I need someone to complain with.
Social media. Exactly. I need someone to talk shit with it. And it's thank God to social media, because I saw he's in New York. He saw that I'm in New York.
Yeah, that's how we met.
What
well, actually not through Troy, the original social media. But
the original social, So but this was the real social, and like this was the social. I was like, what are you doing? He's like, I have this record, and the guy, Joplin's playing on Saturday. So basically, he's gonna come hang with us at the City Fox Experience on Saturday when Joplin's playing. We were hanging with him and his band, Milky Chance, which is way bigger, obviously. And it was a fun moment. And these dudes are so nice, and they're like just happy that they have their album. It's sort of like they also have an independent spirit. I mean, they did an album with Republic, and I think it went really well. But now they're basically employing their own people, marketing people, and they have enough funds and resources to sort of run their own show, you know. And it's a big team. It's interesting to see like how this manager navigates everything. Like for each territory, a lot of people hired, radio people hired, independent marketing people, then direct connections. And we got to meet a lot of Amazon people, Amazon Music people. But I mean, of course, Amazon Music and Apple, they're all trying to get more into electronic music. There's a guy now dedicated for electronic music. But the reality is, like, I saw some business report, like for electronic music, like more like underground, serious electronic music. But even for EDM, the main platform, it's all Spotify.
Wow.
It's like 80% Spotify or something, like for the numbers. So Apple and Amazon, of course, Apple is big on the whole hip hop urban thing, especially in the States, obviously. But it's like they're trying to catch up. And they also see like the electronic music is growing, because like in a lot of territories, like in Africa.
Well, Spotify is number one overall in America now, I believe.
Yeah. The overall like number, like Apple used to be very close, but I think Spotify sort of passed, you know. So basically, what I'm trying to say is, like, of course, we're sort of dependent on Spotify to have good relations there and be with them, but for electronic music. But it's also good to build relations with the other DSPs.
Oh, for sure,
because, you want to be in the mix also with Amazon, and Amazon is growing quickly because of Alexa and stuff, right?
People it's like the Tonight Show.
Yeah,
you know, or late night. You gotta do both.
I guess you gotta do both.
You can't just be like, I'm just one.
Yeah. And thank God everyone's flexible and open to it, and everyone has its pros and cons. So it was a good night. I didn't really know a lot of people at Amazon Music, but I met them all sort of yesterday because they were all in town.
Some people say at the end that it's going to be Amazon who wins. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, the locations it was stunning. I mean, it was Amazon Music, like a full building in Williamsburg with beautiful studios and offices, and there's Amazon Studios also, because Amazon is obviously like a
film production,
like film production, like it's a film studio. If arguably with Netflix and all that, they're taking over basically. That's where, so it was, and that's the New York things. I'm sure like the Amazon studios in LA are huge, are like proper studios.
I think they're in Culver City,
yeah, they're in Culver City. Yeah, one guy mentioned yesterday.
So I went to this place. There's this legendary like video cassette store that sold like a Blockbuster type place, but more like cool indie. That was in Santa Monica, and it was there since 1985, and then it closed during the pandemic finally or whatever. And I think one of the Ellison kids like invested in it, turned into a nonprofit. Now it opened up in Eagle Rock. And I was like, cool, like a video store, like I'll be old and go check it out. And so I went there and I'm looking through the movies and I was like, oh, this is so cool. And they opened a theater and you're just like, all right, so let me rent one. And like, that'll be $3. And then they go and they're like flipping through the DVDs, A, B, C. I'm like, oh, this is why I died. And I was like, do you want me to go? I can go. I'll come back later. They're like, no, we got it. And like, it's not here. They're like, call the next person. They're like, hey, Sven. I'm sure it's Sven. Sven, do you have the other thing, the DVD? It's like, oh, so it pulls out another box, just like a line forming behind me. I was like, I'll go. God. I'm so Canadian. I'm like, I feel so bad. They're all waiting for their videos. They're like, no. We have nowhere else to be. It's totally fine. I'm like, of course you have nowhere else to be. You're at a video store. It's 1:00 in the afternoon. This whole thing is not necessary.
It's like a museum.
Yeah, but it was so fun, and I got it. It got rented.
And they found it.
They found it. I was like, the Valley of the Dolls. I could take it home. Cool. An old movie.
The Valley of the Dolls sounds like a porn movie.
It's not. It's just a movie from the 60s.
Okay.
You've been spending too much time in Ibiza. So now I take the movie home, throw it on the shelf, and forget about it. Now, at the theater, Kate Berlant does a fundraiser for us, and she was so great. She does this show called Communicate, where she does like premonitions with the audience. She'll be like, you have a mom named Ben, and they're like, I do have a mom named Ben, and then, or if they don't, she'll be like, I have someone, my brother's named Ben. Like, tell me about Ben. It's kind of like this really fun crowd work show. It was so great, so amazing. And killed. I met Kate after we talked. Thanks for doing the show.
Nice.
And I'm like, God, I recognize this person. I was like, all right, whatever. Go home, put on Valley of the Dolls. I watched Valley of the Dolls. This is a movie from 1960 something. And I'm like, I got it. I know where I know her from. And I look it up. In the Tarantino, this goes back to the Tarantino movie. In Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, there's a scene where Margot Robbie goes to the theater. And she's like, can I get a ticket for the movie? And they're like, whatever. It's like, well, what if I'm in the movie? And then she's like, yeah, I'm in the movie. And they're like, that's the girl from Valley of the Dolls. And she's like, that's me.
Oh, wow.
And Kate Berlant was the person in the checkout thing in Tarantino's movie. Who mentioned that's Valley of the Dolls. And that's the movie I rented. And I was like,
like, wow, Hollywood.
How did this all happen?
Inception moment.
It's like Inception across in the 60s till now. And so now I watched the movie. It was just okay.
Of course.
It was actually really cool to see like the vibe, but the movie I didn't think was that great. But now I'm stuck with this movie that's already 4 days late.
Yeah, of
and
course.
I have
now
late
you gotta pay up.
I'm like, this whole thing sucks.
You have to drive there. But the thing is, like, you experienced the whole thing because of renting the DVD, and you're gonna remember the story now. It's not like it wasn't just a click on Netflix, you know.
Yeah, no one's story starts with, so I pressed play. I mean, maybe international DJs, their story starts that way. But like a lot of like, you're home, I press play on Netflix. The craziest thing happened. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, nothing starts like this.
But anyway, support Vidiots. It's a great place if you're in LA. They have a great selection in the theater, and they're awesome. Get a membership. We love them.
Yeah, it's cool.
And I think I owe you a lot of money now. So
yeah. And do you have? Did you do like a comedy bunker?
Not yet. No, they actually canceled our comedy bunkers for the teen tour. They're like, yeah, there's a teen tour. They do like teen shows in the summer, but then they emailed me back and said, actually, you can have this other date. So it's going to be a Wednesday this time at 8:30.
Okay, but you're still in a smaller one. You haven't upgraded.
No upgrade. Yeah. It's actually been hard. It's ticket sales in LA have like really just gone. It's been
really. But do you think it's because it's the summer and people are not there? But I guess like there's more tourists coming too, right? I mean,
this thing ebbs and flows. You know, it goes up, it goes down. The vibe. There's a lot of people giving free tickets to shows right now too, so that's kind of affecting. You know.
Okay. So I guess
it goes and you know.
Yeah. It's.
We're doing a fundraiser with Morgan J at the Elysian on Monday, so if you will have missed this by the time it comes out, but he's going to be great.
No, I think we're flying in Monday afternoon, or maybe when is it on Monday?
Monday night, 7:30.
Okay. I might be able, like, let me check back, but I might be able to actually make it.
Nice.
That would be fun, yeah. And also, like,
are you staying
I'm a
with
big
me?
fan, like, of Morgan. No, okay. Staying probably with Jan in West Hollywood, just to be a little closer to the action.
Nice. All right.
And then, or maybe on the West Side, and then. Yeah. And have you seen, like, what's your take? I just looked at it because I didn't understand. Did you check out the Apple Vision Pro thing? The VR, AR
I heard about it. I haven't
goggles?
seen it.
You know what it, like, it's weird. It's like $3,500. It's crazy.
It's like a good way for Apple to say, it makes it fail proof as a business strategy. Cause you're like, we're going to price it so high. Yeah. There's no number that makes sense. So it's never going to be a fail. Yeah. We never have to admit failure.
Yeah, that's one way to see it. And it's also like there was a review of this famous reviewer. I always forget his name. And he got to review it. Exactly. So he's cool. And then basically he said, like, the quality is amazing. Like, basically the eye tracking, like, you can literally just turn it on and you can, everywhere you look, like, you can select everything, and you just select it by doing the fingers like this.
And apparently that technology is mind blowing because you feel like Mission Impossible, like you know where you move stuff around with your eyes, and just so that's really happening. It's kind of heavy, he said, because it's built really well, but then it's not plastic and stuff, so that's why it's heavy. And it's going to be interesting to see like how people develop apps and games and everything for it. And it looks kind of cool and weird. And there's even a version for like people like that wear glasses apparently. And I think, I mean, it's better than all the other glasses, AR, VR, whatever out there for sure. Like
it's
quality
Apple.
wise,
it's always the best.
It's Apple,
yeah.
but and then the question is now: is there going to be an ecosystem? It's its own operating system too.
Yeah,
it has
VR
its own
OS
and everything. Like yeah. So it's I mean, I think for content watching, it could be interesting too, and. But I don't know what the actual use case is, but we'll see.
I mean, if you're working and it's like it gives you two monitors and you're just like, I'm just like, my life is going the other way. I was like, how do I get rid of email? How do I write me a letter? I want a flip phone.
I don't want to have
one day soon, you're going to get a green text from me, and it's going to be real. That's where my life is at.
Yeah, he's off grid now. No, yeah, that's the thing. Like, apparently, like, there's a cool feature, but as we said, like, there's a fight between being in front of more screens or less screens.
Yeah.
Right? Screen time is and the thing is, like, apparently, if you wear the glasses and you look at your Apple laptop, it recognizes that it's an Apple laptop, and if you like, your screen on the laptop will pop up into the glasses basically, and you can start editing stuff. And so it auto detects.
I wonder if it's easier on the eyes, because like I find editing, to be hard on the eyes.
Yeah. And I think this whole selection process, I guess, let's see, like, if you can arrange songs and do all kinds of stuff, like, only with your eyes and stuff, it could be interesting. I don't know.
This podcast started with talking about the table, which is like the first version of VR. And now we're in VR glasses.
I know, now in a VR, AI glasses.
I mean, I'd like to try one.
It's a product for, like, I'd love to try it and see what it feels like.
Yeah, I'm going to watch the Marcus Brownlee review. Yeah. Shout out to Marcus Brownlee.
He's in the middle of it. Like, he says the quality of it is amazing, but he also says, like, what's really the use case? Are people going to watch Netflix on it, something like, and if there has to be some special applications for
on the plane
and games, on a plane, And the thing is, like, and you can see the vision, like, you can see the eyes, but it's not your real eyes. So basically, it takes a picture of your eyes, and then there's a screen in front, and it projects the eyes on the screen, which is kind of creepy. So creepy. So even at night, basically on a plane, you can watch it, and then if someone taps a shoulder, it goes to a see-through mode, and the people will have, like, the eyes, like a vision, like a video of the eyes, like this.
It's cyberpunk. Like, we're gonna be half robot. Crazy. It's over.
Yeah. At some point, I
we're
guess.
No longer meat bags.
Yeah.
But we did it.
No, so I think that was
good New York
from my
app.
Side. I think.
Oh, here I'm going to end on this. I want to ask you, because this is. So I'm at the gym, and J-Lo still dominates. Like, when you hear the classes like working, she still dominates that music. It's like Always Waiting for Tonight, or like.
Yeah, it's coming back.
Let's Get Loud.
All the 90s stuff. Yeah, Let's Get Loud. Yeah,
and I'm like, wow.
Yeah, because it's high energy stuff, and it has that 90s, 2000 feel now, which is all coming back. I hear like there's underground, super credible DJs in Ibiza at the most underground club, DC10, whatever, playing Waiting for Tonight. I was like, what the hell? And like now it's like, it's a cultural cool thing to drop that record. And it was the most poppy, cheesy thing when it's.
Because if you played that 10 years ago, they'd laugh you out of the building.
I know, exactly. Now it's cool.
Yeah. Wow.
It's crazy how, but it goes back to show you a good song is a good song. Mm-hmm. It's a catchy ass song. It's talking about Waiting for the Night. It still has that feeling in a way.
It's a great production. Great video.
Great production. It holds its own thing. I'm sure there's gonna be some bootlegs where they exchange the kick drum and make it a little bit more current. Mm-hmm. But the essence of it, like the vocal and the guitar and the song, it's a classic. It's like this is the rhythm of the night thing, like Corona. It's also a 90s dance Euro trash. Classic,
Rhythm of the Night.
But it's now coming back. There's all this stuff is coming back now.
Yeah,
like all the snap, all this, because it's like these were the iconic songs of the
and
late
they were
90s.
Young when they heard those songs, and now they have money to go to Ibiza, and they're like, yeah, let's go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It brings back memories, but then you just update it. Everything's in circles. So there's nothing new really. It's how you combine it, how you remix it, how you adapt it.
We're just recycling, waiting for tonight.
Yeah, exactly. And J-Lo is still arguably hotter now than 20 years ago. Like she's still
some sort of serum, no drinking. She doesn't drink, right? That probably helps.
She doesn't drink, and then she just probably works out 8 hours a day. So
there was that controversy that she doesn't drink, but she released an alcohol brand.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you shouldn't do an alcohol brand if you don't drink at all.
Yeah.
Like it's like a vegetarian doing a McDonald's ad or something.
And you're just like,
why?
Cut.
It's like so inauthentic.
Yeah.
It's bullshit. Yeah.
All right, well, we're authentic.
Anyways,
we're here.
Okay, cool.
It's Techno Hollywood.
Yes, we're here.
Tan and
See you
Latif
next
to be
week,
in person next week.
Next week.
And
it's gonna be fun.
Follow Chetan Berlin. Follow Latif. I got to do these in the same order because every time I edit, I'm like, it's another order, and I split.
Okay, do it in the right order now.
So who's first? Always
you first.
Okay, I'm Latif Tayor. Follow me.
And I'm Chetan Berlin at Chetan Berlin.
And then the middle goes Techno Hollywood Pod. It's been great. It's been real. He's been in New York. Lungs full of smoke. Thanks, Canada. And we'll see you next week.
Perfect.
And we're off.
Techno.
Cheers.